Hi, I'm Scott. I wanted to introduce another site that we're putting up here, which is for freedom from global inflation. And I know that while we're all focused on trying to get our freedom, we don't want to forget about some of the things that are in the pipeline. And one of those things is inflation. And I know we can all say, well, I don't want to talk about the elephant in the room. We got enough to talk about without that. But I think it's really important that we prepare in the natural ways that we can. While we've been at these movements, these global freedom movements, the dynamic for those of you that have had the joy of being in the camps in Canada, in New Zealand, in the US, Hagerstown and other places, and here in Australia in EPIC, the community was incredible in those places. Just giving, people drawn just to the spirit of it and taking care of one another. And in that same spirit, we're going to talk about inflation. And it's not something to bring fear, because I'm just one of those guys that I don't see problems, I see solutions. And I think we are living solutions. You are a living solution. You're a living solution for your family. You're a living solution for your friends and the world that's around you. You just need to see that you're a living solution. And so we're going to talk about that. There's another site. The link will be on the bottom of this video. I know this is not to do with protests, or so to speak, but we're not a protest site. We're a global freedom site. So there's another one there. There's not a lot of resource on it yet, but we're building it. But the one that I'd really want to invite you to watch, there's a podcast series or a video series, and the first one on there is from Brazil. And it just gives you a good understanding of what inflation is going to look like in everyday life. The man that speaks on there has lived it. And we have some practical solutions. And this site that we're introducing for global freedom from inflation is something that's going to have many practical things that you can do. Now, we're not preppers, so I'm not talking about prepping. I tell the story that I had when I was living in Boston. I thought I'll get some chickens, and I bought 13 chickens, and the lady they were chicks. The lady I bought them off guaranteed me that there was no roosters in there. I got 11 roosters. 11 roosters out of 13. I think she saw me coming. And not to say don't have chickens and don't prepare, but there's got to be reason, right? I mean, some of the inflation cycles are not something that lasts for a month. They can go for years. Venezuela, there's another interview from Venezuela, has been over 20 years. So you can't store enough food for 20 years. And if you do, and you get a flood, or the rat gets into it, or a rat, or your kid sneaks in one day and eats all the whatever, I don't know. We're going to talk about the spirit of community, the creative economy, which I've actually personally lived for 20 years, over 20 years now. A creative economy that when I was in America through the subprime meltdown, I was in America prior to that when it was booming in Boston. I was there for the top, I was there for the bottom, and my standard of living never changed through any of it. Unaffected, largely unaffected. And so I wanted to put together something that, you can only talk about what you've earned the right to talk about. It's a different perspective to many. Some people are going to think, well, this is weird, and I'm not telling you you've got to do it the way I do it, or the people that we're going to interview and put on there do it. But it brings another perspective, something that's going to help give you hope. Because I tell you now, it's not the end of the world. Gas prices, petrol prices in Australia, going through the roof. But you know what? We can beat it. We can survive. So I wanted to put this on the site, try to encourage you. Go across and take a look. Go across and take a look at the interview from Brazil. It's kind of long, nearly an hour long, but just listen to it, see if it grabs you, because as it goes on, it talks about the situation and what happened in Brazil, which is so parallel to where we are, and then globally. And then we bring in the introduction to some of the solutions, and there's going to be more and more content going on that. So just wanted to introduce you, get in on the ground floor, invite your friends if it's something you think's worthwhile. And you know what? We win together. There's no version of this where we lose. There's no version of this where freedom loses. It's just not there. We win. You're a winner. I'm a winner. Let's live like a winner. come together in our community. Hey, appreciate you inviting your friends. I'm seeing that the Global Freedom Movement page is growing, and let's keep that out. Let's get the word out. Let's give hope. Let's give life. All right, appreciate you all. Thanks for taking the time to listen, and we'll talk again soon, I'm sure.